Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. So the possibility of an Andre Ward and Anthony Joshua fight, well, that has bubbled to the surface again. I find this very interesting for a number of reasons. More so, not if it could happen, because that would be a way off, but more what would happen. So this is in the news again after Ward's trainer Virgil Hunter, he reiterated some comments he made a couple of months ago. He basically said, well, we might as well skip cruiserweight, go for it all, and take on Anthony Joshua. So he thinks that Ward could outbox Joshua. So this is the funny part in all this. So Hunter's comments, they came as a bit of a shock to Ward. So Ward told Sky Sports, nothing is off the table. I have a lot of respect for Joshua. He is the heavyweight champ. He has earned it the hard way. He beat the old guard in Klitschko, a great fight. I just wish Virg had tipped me off, given me a heads up. But of course, my team and myself, I believe I can beat anybody. So we'll see. Time will tell. So that was Andre Ward's statement to Sky Sports. You can find a fuller account on any number of boxing websites. Got to say, love that confidence from Ward. He's certainly never short of it. I really do rate Ward, and he is number 2 on my pound for pound list. So that is behind Terence Crawford. And actually, I did have Terence Crawford as my number 1 before his win against Ndongo the other day. I think they've both been severely underrated over the years, and they're finally starting to get the credit that they deserve. But that brings me to the question, could Andre Ward beat Anthony Joshua? When I first saw the story, I scoffed at the suggestion, dismissing it out of hand. I thought, well, he's got no shot. But the more I sort of mulled it over and thought about it, I was like, well, actually I started to warm up to the idea of this fight, and it at least being semi-competitive. And here's why. Ward, like I alluded to, for whatever reason, he has been underestimated at every turn, despite his impressive 32-0 record. There's some really big names on that record. Mikhail Kessler, Carl Froch, Chad Dawson, Sullivan Barrera, and of course Sergey Kovalev. Twice. It's not like what Ward is proposing to do is completely crazy or out of hand either. There is a blueprint. Roy Jones Jr. proved it, moving up the weights and eventually getting the heavyweight title. James Toney also proved that you can campaign at a lower weight, move up several weights, and then do well at heavyweight. I think with Ward, he does a lot of things really well, but it's not like he's going to blow you away with any one thing that he does physically. He does it in such a way that it's efficient and nondescript, but in a way that his opponents have a really hard time handling him. But I will say that, his ring craft and boxing IQ, they're excellent. That's his ace in the hole. I will say he certainly made Kovalev look ordinary in that second fight. Made him look like a bum. But can he hold AJ off for 12 rounds? It's a good question. I'm not so sure about that. AJ, he would have a 6-inch height advantage in any fight and an 11-inch reach advantage. That is a daunting prospect, to say the least. Then you throw in the fact that Joshua has insane punching power. So Ward is certainly game. I'd see the fight playing out in a similar fashion to the Hay-Valuev fight, with Ward darting in and out and using movement to score points and tire Joshua. I don't believe he could fight it any other way. There's no way it could be on the inside, a rough and ready, toe-to-toe sort of dust-up. He'd get killed. He would literally probably get decapitated from an uppercut. So movement, that would be key, and really using that ring well. Whether Joshua could cut the ring off, hard to say. I don't actually really recall him having ever been forced to chase someone for several rounds. He would certainly probably have to do that in a Ward fight. I guess my worry for Ward would be, even if he got partially clipped by Joshua, would he be able to handle it? AJ, he can also rip the body fiercely. Kovalev scored a knockdown against Ward, so imagine that same sort of scenario and Joshua catching flush or even partially flush on Ward. It would be pretty hard to recover, we've seen what Joshua does to some of his victims. I guess one thing Joshua is not, he's not a lumbering oaf like Valuev. So Ward, he would have to be wary of his athleticism/explosiveness. But the counter to that is, we just saw Tony Bellew beat David Haye, a fight I know I didn't expect him to win. But then again, that wasn't prime Haye, and he looked like a faded version of his former self in the rounds before the injury. Ward, on the other hand, would be facing the best or close to it version of Anthony Joshua. So I guess to sort of sum up, do I honestly think Andre Ward could win? No. But I'm sure he'd look good for the period before he gets his face rearranged. I wouldn't rule out an upset entirely, but certainly Joshua, he would go into the fight as the heavy favourite. What do you make of all this? How would you see such a fight between Anthony Joshua and Andre Ward playing out? That's it from me. Drop a comment, hit like and subscribe. I'm now on Twitter as well, boxing_squared. I'm out.